Hi everybody, it's Kasia Dupuy from the Niagara-on-the-Lake Public Library, and we are just about to get started with today's installment of Create with Kasia, Not a Library Live. So we're going to be making these crocuses, just like that. So I just wanted to say hi because some people were asking why I'm not on camera, and I'd rather not be, but that's okay. So I'm going to flip the camera around and we will get started. I'll run through materials one more time because there's a couple bonus colors we need to add. If you have them, great. If you don't, that's totally okay. Yeah, we'll make do with what we've got. So I'll flip the camera around and we can get started. Okay, so sorry for the shakiness as I get this all set up. There we go. Okay, I think everything's in there. Awesome. So thanks for joining us today. I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend and a good Easter, if that's what you celebrate. And otherwise, I hope you just enjoyed the weather and had some good food and some relaxing time, extra relaxing time, bonus relaxing time. So what we're going to be making today is these crocus paintings. So it's really simple. It's kind of got like a plant anatomy vibe to it, but don't worry, super simple to do, very simple shapes. It's a lot of the same thing over and over again, like all the leaves are the same. So before we get started, I'm just gonna run through the materials you're gonna need. If you're joining us to just watch this, not a problem. We're gonna be uploading all the videos to our YouTube page afterwards. So if you're just joining to watch, no problem. If you're joining to be painting along, these are the things you're gonna need. Oh, thank you. My husband just brought me some juice. He's been juicing all the veggies that we aren't eating. So he brought me some beet juice. So what you're going to need to participate in this is a surface to paint on. So a safe surface. I'll start from the bottom up. So I'm using my drafting table. It already has paint on it. I am totally okay if more paint gets on it. Make sure that when you're starting to paint, or before you even start to paint, you make a good choice about what surface you're going to use. So don't do this on a brand new couch. Don't do this on a carpet. Don't do it on a blanket you love. Make sure it is somewhere that is safe, that can be washed, or put a tablecloth down or a big sheet of paper or newspaper, okay? Very important. You're going to need something to paint on. So I'm using my son's, I've commandeered his sketchbook today, so I'm going to be making these crocuses on his sketchbook because I've started to run out of watercolor paper, which I've always used. So that's what's happening now. You're going to need water to wash your brush in. You're going to need paper towel to blot your brush. So it's after you wash it, you go like this. You're going to need a pencil because we're going to start with a little bit of drawing to get some of the basic shapes down. You're going to need 2 brushes. So I actually went through all my art materials on the weekend and I found some new to me brushes. So brushes that I've never used before. They're the same shape as what I always have. So a flat medium and a round, a pointed, round fine point one. But they are a little bit smaller than what I'm used to. So we're going to see how that works for today. If you have whatever brushes you have on hand, use those. If you're used to using a slightly bigger brush like I've been using the last couple times, so I'll show you these side by side. See how they look a little different? Don't worry, still use what you've got. If you need to paint bigger, paint bigger. So if you have a bigger brush, paint on a bigger surface, okay? So don't be discouraged about that. Water, paper towel, brushes, pencil, surface. Oh, paint clothes, make sure you're wearing something that you don't mind getting paint on, and that's comfy. And for paints, so what I mentioned in the graphic earlier is to have green, brown, purple, white, and black. Okay, if you don't have brown, don't worry. We can actually use those 2 to make a brown that's going to work in harmony with the rest of the painting. 2 bonus colors, if you have them handy, are yellow and a blue. So if you have them, great. If you don't, not necessary. If they're close by, you might want to squeeze a little bit. I might use them, I might not. I just brought them in case because I always use a lot of yellow and a lot of blue just to make my colors the way I want to make them. Okay, I think that's everything. We'll just wait another minute or 2. Wait 1 more minute, have a sip of juice. Then we'll get started. Yeah, so this was a very fun one. I also realized, and we'll get to that closer to, I was kind of painting this half by memory, half by some of the research that I do when I'm looking up for projects. looking at anatomical drawings of plants. And I realized that I made these look more like tulips. So I made them pointed because crocuses kind of have more like this shape at the top. They're kind of more like this, right? Okay. However, I also looked it up later that there are some crocuses that have like feathery ends. There are some crocuses that do have pointy ends. There's all different kinds. So you can make yours however you want. If you like them like this, amazing. If you don't like them like that and you want to make a different way, no problem. Okay? So it is 4:05. Let's get started. So I'm going to move this out of the way just for now. And what you're going to grab is your pencil. And actually, you know what? I'm going to move all of this stuff over and sketch right in the middle so I don't have to keep moving this paper. So can everyone still see that? Oh yeah, okay. Perfect. Okay, so grab your pencil and you're going to want to start somewhere in the middle of your page, but we're going to start with the bulb first, okay? So if you look at my orientation on my paper, it's actually closer to the bottom with these little roots, right? Because that's how it would germinate. So what you're going to do is close to the bottom, make kind of like a squat circle, just like that, okay? And don't worry if your lines are messy like mine, we're gonna paint right over them. The thing I always tell you though, when you are drawing, never press really hard. So I press really light there and I press really hard. If I go to erase this, that goes away no problem. If I go to erase this part, it never really disappears. There's always a line, okay? So go ahead and make this kind of circle shape, like a squished oval, just like that. Okay, from there, we're going to make these little tiny, I guess kind of like nodules where the plant would actually start growing out of the bulb. So I'm gonna make a little one here. It's just a little bump like that. A little bigger one. See how it kind of goes up, down, and another little bigger one. And I'm gonna do a tiny one there, okay? So that's where our plants are gonna grow from. So 4, you can even do 5 if you want, but 4 little kind of nodules where the sprout would come from. Before we go too far, we're going to make this look more round. And I know it's already a circle, how can we make something look more round? But we're gonna add some lines to trick our brain into thinking it's even rounder, okay? So you're going to draw a line like this, close to the edge. And then draw another one, and it's okay if they're closer together. As they get closer to the middle, they get straighter, and then they get rounder again, and rounder again, and rounder again, and rounder again. What they're doing is they are mimicking this shape here, and that is what we would see. We'd see these stripes over top of the bulb just look like that, okay? All right, so get some of those done. And then we'll move on to the roots. And they're really easy. Ready? Actually, really easy, just like this. Little tiny roots. Ta-da. Little tiny roots, just like that. Okay. So we made our bulb. And we don't have to color these in because we're just going to do that with some paint. We're going to paint them in. The next thing we're going to do is from these 2 biggest ones, we're going to make the stems. So we're going to draw the stems first. So you're going to make a line that goes up and make sure you stop with enough time to put enough space, to put your bloom. And then you're going to do the same thing. Go up and make that one maybe a little bit shorter. Then what you can do is double up on this. So it's a little bit thicker at the bottom, thinner as you get to the top, just by a little bit. So start here, thicker at the bottom, a little bit thinner as you get to the top, okay? So, looks kind of funny. Has anyone ever cut a half of onion or some lettuce or like a little sprout and put it in water and it starts to grow again? That's kind of what it looks like right now. The very first step of a plant growing, which is kind of cool because we're kind of building a plant that would be new to grow, right? So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add some leaves. So from here, I'm going to make this one here. So I'm going to go up like that and see how it's kind of curved, like so. And then I'm going to go back around, but make it like a really squished pointy oval. So around like that, okay? And then I'm gonna start a little bit lower, and I'm gonna do another one that comes up, and then it comes back down like that. Okay? So we've got 2 leaves. Now, is mine exactly gonna look the way I made it the first time? Nope. It's very hard to make the same thing over and over and over again. So don't worry if it looks different than mine, or if mine looks different than mine, that's okay. That's the cool thing about art, okay? So we're gonna do that over here again. So we're gonna make a nice long leaf here, and then bring it down. And it's okay if it's almost touching, because that would happen in nature, right? Bring another one, bring it down like that. And then maybe this time I'm gonna make a smaller one. Oh look, it's gonna overlap, just like so. We'll get to overlapping and what it does. See, it's looking different already. That's okay. Next thing we're gonna do is start here, and we're gonna bring another one, make another leaf. We're gonna bring another one, make another leaf here. And then this one, you know what? If you wanna give it 2, you can. I'm just gonna make it have one tiny one that's just started. Oh, maybe, you know what? I'm gonna make another little one just like that. So it's just starting to grow. So the same shape over and over again to make some leaves. You can have them overlapping if you like. They don't have to be overlapping if you don't want them to be. It is up to you, okay? All right, so we've got the bulb, we've got the roots, we've got the nodules, we've got the stems, we've got some of the leaves. What we need to do are the blossoms. So we're gonna do the flowers next. And it's very simple. So it's not like we're going for, it looks kind of realistic, the painting, but we're not going for perfectly correct, okay? Art is fun because we don't have to be that way. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make 3-petaled crocuses so that that's what you would see. So I'm gonna start at the big one first, and I'm gonna make this first petal. So if you see that one, it kind of stands out. So I'm gonna go like this. So there's one. Okay, the next one, and go up, and then I'm gonna make it more round than that one. Remember when I mentioned I made those a little pointy? That's okay. And then this one I'm going to make in the middle, just like that. And it's not perfectly center. Yeah, it's a little bit off-centered. Okay, so we're gonna do the exact same thing on the other side, except I'm gonna make this one, the one that's in the front, on this side. So I'm gonna go like this. 1, 2, 3, just like that, okay? All right, so finish up your sketching, and you can move your pencil out of the way because I don't think we're gonna be using it again. We're going to start painting, and we're actually gonna start with the bulb. So we're gonna make that brown. Okay, so you're gonna take your medium brush, or your medium flat. I have a medium-ish flat. And if you have brown like this, what you're gonna do is take some, move it to a side, take a teeny tiny little bit of black, and we're going to make it darker. So it'll be like that. But you know what I'm thinking? That brown, that tan isn't gonna work the way I want it to. And sometimes, you know, you find these things as you go along with art. I'm gonna take some purple, because we're gonna make brown. I'm gonna take some purple, and I'm gonna take a scoop of green, and see how I'm always taking from the side, not right from the middle. And you're going to mix it. And believe it or not, this is going to make a brown that is actually more harmonious with the painting. And that means it kind of works better than a random tan brown. Honestly, I don't even really like that combination right there. But it's harmonious because it's a brown made from the colors that will repeat in the painting, right? So this green, even though we can't really see it in the brown, it's there. And the purple, even though we can't really see it in the brown, it's still there. And our brain picks up on those tiny little things, and it makes the picture look kind of all together. So we're gonna make a brown, or like a gray brown. And what we're gonna do is we're going to take this and start painting along some of those lines. Just like this. And it's okay if it's stripey. Yep, we want it to kind of be stripey. Just like that. And it's okay if it's rough, right? It's something that grew in the ground. Just gonna add in lines, and you can go around your little bulb if you want, just like this. And you can cover most of it with the brown, just like that. So it looks kind of rough. I kind of like it already. Looks kind of cool. Okay. So the next thing, after you've done those lines, is take your brush that you're using and we're just gonna paint in those little like nodule things like here. Just like that. If you'd rather use your smaller brush like this, go ahead and do so, okay? I like, this shape of brush, this square flat, is one of my favorites because I can get really fine lines from practicing. It's not something that I just one day knew how to do. It was all about practicing. But I feel the most confident with using this brush, right? Everyone's just like, everyone has favorite foods and favorite things that they like. I have a favorite brush style. Okay, so we did the little stripes, we did the nodules. Now we're gonna do the roots and we're gonna use the same color because this is like a medium brown. This is gonna be the middle because we're gonna darken it and we're gonna lighten it. So you're gonna take your brush, you can use your little one if you want, and just really roughly go over those roots, just like that. And you can add some if you want some extras. Because has anyone ever looked at the roots of a bulb? Now's a good time to do so after it blooms. They have these little wispy, tiny, tiny little roots, and they're really pretty actually. Okay, so we have this part done, we have the nodules done, and we have the roots. So if you have some of your brown left over, and I hope you do, move some to a new spot. You probably don't even need that much. Take a little bit of white from the edge of your puddle and mix it together. Oh, and that was not enough. I'll mix a little bit more. Oh, this white is starting to dry. So we're gonna make a light version of that brown we made, just like so. Okay, and then what you're gonna do is you're going to take your brush with that light brown and you're going to start to add lines. And you know what? I think I might even need to make it lighter, just so it stands out more. You're gonna start making lines to fill in some of those white spots or to go over top of some of the brown, just like that. Just like so. So remember, it follows along the up and down curvature lines of the bulb. And if you want, you can take a little bit of this as well and just put like a little tiny dab on the top of those nodules, because that's where maybe they would be hitting the light more, just like so. Okay, can everybody hear my boys in the background playing? So yes, there are still some white spots. Guess what we're gonna put over top of those? So you're gonna wash your brush. After you put in your light brown, you're going to take another scoop of your medium brown. Hopefully you didn't mix it all up. Take a little bit of black, and actually I think that might even be a little bit too much black, but we'll find out. And mix it in. Oh, actually it's like the perfect amount. And then you're gonna make a dark brown. And with this dark brown, what you're gonna do is go over some of those lines. And see how I'm using very fine lines? I'm not doing anything like this. That's too thick. These are all little details that we wanna add in. Just like so, to make the bulb look realistic. Okay, somewhat realistic. We're not going for true realism. We're kind of going for, you know, something to make our brain. Oh, so put a little bit of brown underneath, dark brown underneath those nodules as well. Just kind of feather it in. I guess it's kind of like impressionist style. We want to trick the brain into seeing something there. Okay, so there is the bulb. It's done. Yep. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is wash your brush. I'll give everyone a couple minutes to do that. Oh no, I put my black into my paper towel. And then after you're done the bulb, you can wash your brush, and we're gonna start the stems. Okay, so catch up with that one. Busy house today. All right, so the next thing we're gonna grab And you can use whatever brush you'd like. You can go ahead and use your small brush if you think if you're gonna feel like you have more control, be more confident with it, go ahead and do that. I'm gonna use this brush because that's my favorite. And we're gonna go right into this green. Whatever your medium color, whatever color green you have is gonna become the medium shade, the medium tone of the green. So you're gonna get some green. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with the center stem first, okay? So whatever is on your biggest plant or your biggest flower, we're going to go and paint that in, just like so. And try to use the tip of your brush. Try not to push down too hard, just like so. Okay, yeah, we're not doing lines like this. We want to use the tip of our brush and get lines like this because we can always make that thicker, right? But it's really hard to get that thin. Okay, the next one we're gonna do is the stem over here. And see how I'm painting? A lot of people think when they're painting they have to go and make one straight line. See, I can't even do one straight line. What is good to do is kind of feather the paint on. You have more control over your brush stroke that way. And it's a really light touch. And that's how I learned to make straighter things, actually, by making all these like little baby steps. Just like so. Okay. Next, guess what we're gonna do? The leaves. Yep, we're gonna start painting some leaves. Now, if you have any overlapping leaves, so I have one set of overlapping leaves right here. So this little one is in front of this big one. I'm gonna paint this big one first. So just like so. Remember, little tiny strokes to cover that space. And I thought maybe I wouldn't have to add a whole bunch of water to my paint because I was working on a different kind of paper. But nope, paper likes to dry paint really quick. It's good because it dries fast and you can move on. But it's not good if you want a little bit of play. Okay. Just like so. So there's my first leaf in the background. And then from here, you can kind of do whatever ones you want. I'm gonna do this one last, but I'm gonna work on this one and just paint it in. Oh, and if you make a mistake, just extend that leaf. Maybe we're just seeing a narrower angle of that leaf, right? Maybe it's pretty wide, but we're just seeing some side views that don't show the full size of the leaf, just like so. Fin. Okay, so we'll do that one. So it's very muddy today. We let the dogs outside together and not thinking that it was so muddy. We usually do let them out together, but today we should have thought because they came in covered in mud. Covered. They were playing so hard. I'm pretty sure one of them rolled around in the mud. They looked like they were having so much fun, but it was so much to clean up. Finn, my older dog, my bigger dog, he is older. He has white paws with like little brown spots on them. When he came in, it did not look like he had white paws at all. He had like gray, tan, brown paws. They were crazy. But I bet they had a lot of fun. Has anyone gone on a nature walk lately, today? Actually, a lot of people don't go on walks on rainy days, but sometimes you see really cool stuff. Like our neighbor across the street, she has ducks. There's ducks in her front yard because of the rain today. Yep. We went to go take a look. And apparently a park that's by our house has some puddles, and apparently there's already tadpoles in those puddles. So that's something I want to go check out later. Making sure that there's not too many people at the park, right? Social distancing, physical distancing. Make sure you keep your space. But as long as you do, it's pretty cool to be able to go check out all these nature things that would be out right now, that are happening. Okay, so get all those leaves covered, and maybe you're faster than me at this. I'm enjoying painting these leaves today. If you are, great. If you're happy with it, I'm even happier for you. Just like so. Okay, so we're using our medium green. Ooh, did everyone hear the wind? It's got really windy around here. Okay. All right, so I only have one more leaf left. And then the next part, it's a little bit quicker, and it's fun because it starts to make the leaves look more realistic, just like so. So even though this little leaf that's overlapping here, I know, like it kind of got lost, I know it's still there. I just have to make a mental note to remember that that one is the one in front. And if I make a mistake and I change my mind, totally possible to do that, no problem. Okay, so what we're gonna do next, oh, I'm just gonna fix that a little bit. What we're gonna do next is make a darker green, okay? So you already have green on your brush. You do not have to wash it. We're gonna take a scoop of this medium green, maybe 2 scoops. Take a little bit of black, just a tiny bit. Remember, because we can always add more, but we can't take away. It's not easy to take away. We can take away. I'm just gonna drop a little bit off there, and I'm going to make a darker green. Now see, that's not quite dark enough for me. Take the rest of what I had there, mix it back up. So if you make a dark green and it's a little bit too dark for you, you can add more green. But remember, just add tiny, tiny bits of stuff so you don't have to fall into that. If it looks okay on here, on your palette, but when you get it on here, it's too dark, no problem. You can just take some of your original green and cover, okay? Beautiful thing about painting is that we can mix colors that will cover, and we can cover some of our mistakes. Sometimes it takes time to, but we can still do it. Okay, so we have a dark green, and what we're gonna use is your small brush, like so. I'm gonna use this one because I can get a fine point. And all you're gonna do is on one side of your leaf, you're going to do a shadow, a very fine shadow, and then the rest of it, you can just do some lines. Easy peasy, right? So one side, you're gonna go like this, and then you're gonna make some lines just like that. This one is gonna be, actually I'm gonna do this one first before I do that small one in front. So here, and it's okay if the lines break, right? Because in flowers, they tend to do that. See how my shadow line is always on the same side? It doesn't have to be, but for this it might work really well. This is very forgiving. If you decide or you forget and make a mistake and put it on the wrong side, it's gonna still look great. Mine over here, I just kind of whipped them all together. Okay, so keep doing those ones here. Just like so. Just a little bit of the dark. Oh, I went too far. Did you guys see that? I'm sure you did. So I'm just gonna extend that, pretend it never happened. Yep, because painting we can. I'm gonna make this just a touch darker because I'm losing some of my green. And see how it's pretty dark? Add a little bit more. I'm gonna go back over this to make it look like I did that on purpose. Yeah, why not? And then I'm gonna do this one. And then I'm gonna do that one. Okay. So one thing I did forget to do, well, I didn't forget, I just didn't get there yet, is we didn't do the stems. So after you put all these dark lines in your leaves, and don't they look cool already? Yeah, you should be proud of yourself if you're doing this with me and yours looks like that. It's very simple stuff, but it looks really cool, right? Part of the reason why I love teaching art is about teaching these little things that are kind of magical, right? All of a sudden we're making this plant that looks real on a piece of paper. How did we do that? So what you're gonna do is take some of your dark green and just on one side of the stem, add in that shadow. So you can still see a bunch of the regular green here, and there's a really fine point of there on this one too. Now look, I accidentally almost covered all the green there. Not a big deal. Don't worry about it. Okay, so we've got our stems done with the green, and we've got our first shadow layer on. So what we're gonna do is wash our brush. And does anybody know what we're gonna make next? What color we're gonna make? We made the medium, we have the dark, we need to make the light. So I'm gonna take some light green over here, and I'm running out of space, so I'm gonna make it right here. So take your medium green, take some white, and mix it in. And you know what? Take more than you think. We want this to be pretty light to add some contrast and some depth to it. It's gonna be really light, kind of like that, okay? Make sure when you're mixing paint too, you're not making a giant puddle that dries out. You want to push all the paint you can use into the center, just like so. Okay, we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to put the highlight on the other side of the leaf. And it's hard to see because it sometimes paint is darker when it's wet, but it will dry later. Okay, so just like that. So I'm going to put it on the side here. And just put a few little lines through. And see them on this side here. It looks really cool, right? Oh, you know what? While we're here, we might as well do the other side of the stem. Just a little tiny highlight on there. And then we're going to do this side. And we're going to add that in here, just like so. That's so cool. I love art. It's so magical. And then we're going to go just like this and add a few. And try to keep them the same length, the same way as your leaf. So don't put them this way. Although it might look really cool, and if that's what you want to do, it is your art. You can do whatever you want, right? You can make it look however you want. But if you want it to look like mine, and that's fine if you do or don't, I don't mind. You just want to keep your lines the same orientation as those. Okay, and that's it for the leaves and stems. So we've made the bulb and the roots and the nodule things. I still have to figure out. I should learn my terminology before I start using all these words. I think I know. Then we made the stems with the medium green. We made a dark green and added some definition. We added a light green for some highlights. Next, we're going to start our crocuses. But before that, keep working on your stems if you are. I'm just going to go through, and a few spots that look a little bit too light to me, I'm just going to go and add some depth to them. So I'm going to go back to my dark and add in a little bit more, just like so. You don't have to do this. It's up to you. There we go. Okay, so finish up those lovely crocus stems, and then we'll start the crocus balloons. So hope this is going well for everybody that is joining us. Thank you for tuning in on this Easter Monday. Gloomy days are good for painting, sunny days are good for painting. Pretty much any day is good for painting. So thanks for joining us. Let me see. Okay, so let's go on to the crocus blooms. Now I made these purple. We have purple crocuses in our garden. They're still blooming actually. But we also have some yellow ones, and we have some really light pink ones that are already, the blooming's done. So the way that I'm teaching you to do these purple ones will be the exact same way to use any color. You could make red ones, you could make blue ones, you could make black ones, you could make whatever color or shade you want, okay? So it's very similar to the steps that we used all down here. So we're gonna start with the medium, we're gonna add the dark, and then we're gonna add the light. So watch this. We're going to start with your medium crocus color. So you know what I might do? I might do one in yellow, and I might do one in purple, just to show you that it's the exact same step. So you're going to take your medium color, and then what you're gonna do is start from the one in the back. So we know that this one is in the back, so we're going to outline it, and you know what? I'm gonna make it a little bit more rounder, like that. Because they are a little bit more rounder, although crocuses come in all different shapes, so don't worry if yours doesn't look exactly like mine. That's totally cool. Maybe you have a new hybrid or a new species or something. New mutation. Pretty cool. Okay, so there's the one in the back. Next would be this one, because this is my one that's in front. So you're going to take your purple or whatever color you've got, and you're going to paint that in. And take your time and round off the edge if you want it. Make it pointy if you want. It's up to you. Like so. And yes, they look at the exact same color, but I remember and I know that there were 3 petals. And if you forget, don't worry, I'll remind you when we go to paint them. Now this one is the one in front, and I'm actually going to extend it a little bit over top of that other one there. Okay, so just like so. Okay, so we're going to do the exact same thing on the second petal. Sorry, the second bloom, except I'm going to use yellow. And I did mention at the beginning of this video some bonus colors, which are yellow and blue. If you have them, great. If not, we can still make do with the colors that we have. Okay, so I'm gonna do a yellow one here just to show you the variations that you can make. So here's a yellow. Oh, I love that yellow, especially with the purple. Yellow and purple are complementary colors, right? They're right across each other on the color wheel. So our brain likes complementary things, things that create some contrast and look interesting. So that is why these two things look great. You know what else I really love? Daffodils, because our daffodils are blooming in the front yard right now. Daffodils and those little blue hyacinths, those tiny little, they look like little bunch of grapes, but upside down. Those are my favorite combination in the spring to see. We don't have any of those hyacinths though. We just have the daffodils, but our neighbor has like a whole bed of them. They're so pretty. I'm a little jealous that they have all those blue hyacinths. I'll have to get some for next year. Okay, so we have our first layer, our first coat. So what you're gonna do next, and I'm gonna use, you know what, I'm gonna make this my purple brush, and I'm gonna make this, my purple brush, and I'm gonna make this my yellow brush, just to show that you can do the same step with different brushes. So what we're gonna do is start with purple. So we have it base coated. We're gonna do a dark first. So take some purple, move it to a new spot, take a teeny bit of black, okay, and mix it in. And you'll make a dark purple, just like so. Now the other color that I said to make, oh, that's too much black, oh dear. The other color I said to make, or to have, the bonus color, was some blue. So this will work. This will look quite nice. It's a darker purple than our regular purple. But what you can do if you have that blue, accidental rhyming, my favorite. I try to do that once. Well, I don't try to because it's an accident, but I hope it happens every time I teach accidental rhymes. Take some purple, take a little bit of this blue, mix it to make a not darker shade of purple, but a deeper shade of purple. So it's actually more like an indigo, like so. 2 rhymes, awesome. I don't do that on purpose, everybody. Okay, so I'm gonna make a darker, oh, see, it's like a royal purple. See? So it'll actually make it look like the sun is glowing through, or the light is glowing through your crocus, like it would outside, right? So we have our darker shade. It's kind of like a bluey purple. You know what, that's actually maybe a little too blue. We'll make it a little, we'll add some more purple and take the blue on my brush. There we go. Yeah, that's more what I'm talking about right there. Okay, so then what you're gonna do is start in the back, and you're going to do the same kind of lines that you did on your petals, or on your leaves. So just like that. And then the next one, I'm going to take some of this and go like that. And then go on the other side and then follow the shape of that petal, just like so. Okay? Same thing, except this one's in the front, so I'm gonna go along here. I'm gonna go along here. And I'm going to add some of those lines just like that. And it's already starting to look more 3D. It's already starting to kind of pop and glow. So I'm gonna wash that brush. I'm gonna really quickly do the yellow one for everybody. So I'm gonna take some yellow. This you might wanna add some black, okay? But I'll show you what happens if you mix too much black and yellow together. Black and yellow. So just like this. You kind of get like this yucky kind of gray. Meh, I don't really like that. What you can do instead is take some of your brown, if you have it left over. Move that to a new spot. Hopefully you can see that on there. Okay, I'll move this down just so we can have some more space. So take some of your brown, then take some yellow and mix it together. Oh, see? More like a natural dark yellow, more like a golden yellow with the brown, just like that. You can also take a little bit of purple, actually, and mix that with your yellow. And then you're going to go and do some lines. Just like that. Okay, so just like that. And then the next one, which would be this one, you're going to go like so. Okay. And then the next one, you're going to go in the front. So you're going to do both sides. But you're going to do the exact same thing and add some lines in there. Oh, that one was really dark. I kind of like it because it's the one in the front. Okay. So, first layer. Next layer, oops, sorry, shaky, everybody. We're going to go into the light. So we have our dark purple, we have our dark yellow, we have our medium purple, our medium yellow. We're going to make some light purple and some light yellow. So find a new spot. I'm going to go right here. Just gotta be careful I don't get that yellow in there. Take some white, mix it together, and you can actually make this pretty light. Just like so. Okay, and then what you're gonna do is start from the back and add just a few back here. Oh, my paper is starting to bubble a little bit. Okay, now see I made a little oopsie and I came over onto the other petal there. What you have to do next, we'll break the rules. We'll do this one first, and we'll just go onto there and add a little bit of white, or a little bit of light purple, and then we'll go here. Just like so. Okay, and it's starting to have more depth. Oh, did everyone see that? I just put my arm in the brown. Oh well, it's bound to happen. And that's why you wear paint clothes, everybody. Yep, no big deal, it happens. Okay, so we put in this light, just like so. So I'm gonna wash my brush. I'm going to make some light yellow by taking some yellow in a new spot, adding some white, making it really, really light. And that's not even light enough for me. We're gonna make it even lighter, just like that. Now this is the second last step. We've got one more step after this. Okay, so we're gonna go here and we're gonna start at the back and put some highlights, because darks, the darker color we made, we call them shadows. These lighter ones we can call highlights, just like so. Just like so. And remember, if you think it's getting maybe a little bit too messy, or you didn't really like where that line is, or like you had one of those moments, don't worry. The whole reason I like to teach is that you're learning this, right? It's not that you already know how to do this. That wouldn't be fun if you're already joining in and know how to do this. You're learning things so that you can try it again and try it again and try different things and make sure, or not make sure, but see different ways it can work and if you can make it better. One of my favorite things is when I'm teaching and my students turns out way better than mine because they've tried different things, they've looked at different techniques, all that kind of stuff. I love that. Absolutely love it. And then they teach me, right? So the next step, the last step, what we're gonna do is take a little bit of white. Now, we're gonna put straight up white right on our crocuses. So do you think we should use a lot or a little bit? Teeny tiny little bit. I'm just gonna take a little tiny dab. See, you can barely see it on there, especially next to the white. See, just like that, teeny tiny bit. You're gonna get some of it off. And on a few spots, what you're gonna do is just put some little, oh, that wasn't even enough. Eek. Put some little tiny highlights, just like that. Tiny, tiny ones. Barely even see them, but they will make a difference. They kind of make things like glow. Like so. Okay, and you can do the same thing. You know what? It's just white, so I'm going to use this brush on my yellow. Start at the back and put just a few right at the top there. Put just a few right there. And then a few at the top here, and then a few down the middle, just like so. All right. So, there we have it, everybody. You have made, hopefully you have made, some lovely spring crocuses. So thanks for joining me once again. I know I've said it a bunch, but I really do mean it. This is really fun for me to be able to teach some painting classes from my own house to everybody who is all at home. We're all stuck at home, right? For the safety of others. So it's good for us to get a creative outlet and to make some stuff together, make some art together. So if you were just watching, don't worry, we're going to upload all of these videos to our YouTube channel. So any of the other projects we've made are already on our YouTube page. We will be posting the link on our Facebook page as well. If you have any feedback for me or project suggestions, I would love to hear them. I'd love to be able to make something that you want to make. So you can send me an email at kdupuy@notlpl.org. That's me. Don't call though, because we're not there. You can send me an email and I'll answer it right away. If you, I'd love to hear feedback, and I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, thank you again for joining us for NOTLLibrary Live, Create with Kasia. I'm Kasia Dupuy, and I hope to see you next time. All right, have a great rest of your day, everybody, and keep safe. Okay, bye.